So this video is gonna have three parts. The first part is I'm gonna give you some information. The second part is I'm gonna give you my opinion. And then the third part is going to be the first and the second part rolled up into one, which is gonna be my recommendation on the information and my opinion. Does that make sense? All right, good. Let's check it out. No, it's no doubt that camera review videos on YouTube are some of the most popular videos on YouTube. Most people that are creating on YouTube are searching for a camera or have searched for a camera that's going to allow them to grow their channel and the camera that fits them the best. But my question is this: are camera reviews actually helpful? And if they are, how much weight should they hold? Now, I've been using YouTube over the years, and I found that most reviews fall into three categories. That is, the reviewer will give information, the reviewer will then give you his opinion, and then the reviewer will then give you a recommendation based on the information and based on his opinion. So what that would look like in a video is the reviewer would bring out a product, then he would give you information about it. Like, let's say it's a camera. He'll say, does it have autofocus? What kind of autofocus does it have? Is it an interchangeable lens camera? What lenses work with the camera? And what other features the camera has? Now this will fall under the information part of the review. Now the second part will be the reviewer's opinion. Now the viewer may say, here's what the manufacturer said this thing could do, and he'll take it out and he'll go, it didn't do this thing. I tested the autofocus and it didn't work like they said it would work. Or he may say, I don't like the way this camera did this. I like this camera over here better because I have more experience with this camera, or whatever it may be. But his opinion will be the driver in this part of the review. And then finally, the last part of the review would be his recommendation. Now his recommendation may take into account the information and how it conflicted with his opinion, or it may be some other things that he just thought of, and he'll go, so based on that, I'm gonna give you guys a recommendation. So that's how a review would go. Now, this is part 2 of this video. I just gave you all my information, so now I'm gonna give you my opinion. Are camera reviews necessary? I'm gonna say yes, and it's for a few reasons. The first reason is it holds manufacturers accountable. If a camera manufacturer says our lens here or this camera can focus in pitch black, somebody reviews it and it doesn't, well, that's not a good look for the company. People are gonna start listening to it and they're not going to want to buy the product, and the company will not be able to sell anything. That is one reason why reviews are good. The second reason is it gives a potential buyer insight to the product or what he may or may not get. Sometimes just simply seeing an item, whether it's a camera or a lens, you could tell if it's gonna work for you. Maybe you have a certain type of bag that you wanna put it in, or maybe you have certain restrictions on the spaces that you're gonna be in. So you see a product and you go, that's not gonna work for me. Maybe it's too small, maybe it's too big for your hands. Just simply watching a review can tell you more about a product that otherwise you wouldn't have known. And the last part is, depending on the reviewer, you may learn something technical. You may learn another term, or you may learn another type of videography or photography that you never heard of just by listening to the reviewer. Now, again, this greatly depends on the reviewer. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is the power of influence. Now, when it comes to reviews, a lot of times what you choose is going to be based on who it is you trust. Now, a lot of us may not think about it, but it's really true. This is why we shop at certain stores. This is why we go to certain gas stations. It's not always just convenience. It could just be something as simple as you like the way a company handles something, or you like what they stand for. Whatever it may be, this is going to have an impact on your buying, whether you know it or not. And this is also true with who you hear something from. If you get used to hearing this YouTuber and you like the way he talks, you like the cadence of his voice, you like the music, you like the way his stuff looks, you're going to value his opinion more. And his recommendations are going to probably influence you a lot more. Now, the other side of influencing is that influencing can sometimes influence the influencer to do things that aren't ethical. Now, I'm not saying that this happens to everyone, but there are some people out there for a fact that manipulate people into buying things that they don't use themselves or they really don't have information about. This is just the world that we live in. So you have to think about that when you watch reviews. The other thing you want to think about is the power of money. Now, when a reviewer reviews something, a lot of times a company will send them a camera or a lens or something to review, and they'll have it for a certain amount of time. And sometimes they will get paid for that. Maybe there's a sponsorship. Maybe there's a certain relationship in there that has monetary gain attached to it. And if that's the case, that is going to impact the reviewer, because he will tell you things or push certain things because he knows that if he sells this to you, he's going to get paid. So that's another thing you have to look out for. Now, with all that information and my opinion on it, I want to ask one question. How do we go about using reviews to our advantage? Because we know not all reviewers are going to be fair. Some are not going to be honest. Some will be honest, and we're going to have a mixed bag. So how do we take this reviews as a whole and make it something that we can use? This is going to go to part 3 of the video, which is my recommendation. I recommend that when you watch camera review videos or gear videos or whatever the reviewer may be reviewing, you have to first start out with a simple question, which is, so if I buy this camera, what am I going to be using it for? You wouldn't buy a camera without knowing what you're going to use it for, but you'll be surprised a lot of people do that. That would be like if one day you woke up out of bed and you said, you know what? I think I want to start a business. So you go out with a real estate agent and you start looking at these buildings, and he asks you, what are you looking for? And you tell him, I want the best. He goes, okay. And he finds a huge building on like 2,000 acres. This building is just massive. So you buy this building, and then you sit down and you think, what is it that I want to start a business doing? And you figure out that you want to do something online. Well, you just bought a huge building that you're not going to be able to use because everything's online right now. Now, maybe you can use it down the road if you grow your business and you get staff, but this is something you just thought of the other day, and you don't know how long it's going to take for you to build whatever it is that you're going to build. So the same is true when it comes to cameras. You wouldn't just buy the biggest and the best camera because your favorite YouTube guy told you to, and because you like the way he dresses or the way he talks. You would first figure out what it is that you want to do with your camera, and then you would study that and figure out what tools you actually need. So then when you go review cameras or watch camera reviews, you're not wasting your time on things, whether it be the informational side, whether it be the opinion side, or whether it be the recommendation side. You'll already know what you need. Now, that's the way I would approach it. And the last thing is, information is good, but you can also get information overload. Sometimes too much information will make it harder to make a decision because you have so much information on all these different cameras that it makes it very difficult to sift through. So one of the things that I try to do when I look at a camera or I'm looking at two different things is I will say, what is it that makes the biggest difference between these two? And I will find those things and highlight those things, and I'll use that to my advantage. So I just want to know what you guys think about this video and how much you love reviews and what it is that you like about reviews and what you don't like about reviews. Anyway, leave in a comment below. All right, I'll holler at y'all later. I'm out. Peace.